say that this dude said that, but without further explanation, anybody could have wrote that and posted it out there. So
now, what do you believe now, though, Anthony?
It's true. What he described the crime scene, what Erskine described the crime scene as, fits exactly what the defense just said. It fits it. But the reason it fits it is not because Richard Allen is not the guilty party and it's some Odinistic, crazy cult people. It's because Richard Allen is the person that committed the crimes, and he's the one that did all that occult shit. That's why. And they're trying to make it seem like it's not him.
All right, so if Erskine...
All right, that's very interesting. Right now I'm watching a thing on the Delphi case. And some interesting stuff going on. I'm seeing a lot of nervous reactions from a couple of these YouTubers. But you know, we're following along with it. Is this something we can believe in? Oh, look at it, it's Debbie again. She's always popping in. So nice of her. You know, she's a very busy lady. And it's very nice of her to pop in. Thank you, Debbie. But I'm just listening to some more of this stuff on YouTube about the Delphi case. And, of course, we're just couch potato profilers. But let's take a little bit more listen to what we got here. Now, you know what? This gentleman, Mr. Greeno. Now, can we take this, what he is saying about this stuff, real? That is the big thing. If this is real, and Mr. Greeno was set up in the feral fires out there, right? Like he was saying in his other video too. If they're that corrupt, right? If this whole Odin thing is real, I don't know. That, you know what? Greeno knew about this document years ago, because Greeno did know about Odin, because he's been asked numerous times. You know that one crazy Canadian, what was his name? I forget. I'll remember her in a minute. But he was also questioning, and like I said, some of us, we thought, well, it's just a biker club, right? Which we all heard the Odins, but this whole secret thing is another thing. But let's take a little listen here, and we have to ask ourselves: can we trust what Greeno was saying? Was he set up? Was he? How did they get his DNA? Right? The government asked for his DNA. So let's listen more to what's going on here. Hey, Tahoe, how you doing? How you doing? How's things going? I know I'm gonna let you out, buddy. I'm gonna be letting you
feel about that. Oh, we might have lost him again. All right. Marv, how do you feel about that? The girls not being found that night?
After being at that area, at the crime scene, I don't understand why they were not found that night.
Can you folks hear what's going on? Debbie? Can you hear? Tahoe? Can you hear the conversation? All right, let's continue listening.
Where he could have seen across, and on the north side, where he could have directly interacted with the crime scene.
Right.
But somebody stopped him.
And he's not the only one that's happened to.
No,
We've heard other people were stopped from going there.
Now, here's the thing. I haven't talked to anybody else but Eric, but I've talked to him exclusively several times. And he reached out to me today after that shit came out from the defense saying, oh my God, I saw those bones and shit in the trees. But
Yeah.
he saw that shit on the south side. So now, am I saying that's not Odinism? No, at all. But we,
All right. So what they're saying, for those that are just coming into the chat or watching, I'll tell you what, this is just unbelievable. It's shocking, really. If you ask me, it's shocking. Why do I think we're hearing this now? I think, and here's what I'm going to say, folks, just so you can hear me. I think this story was coerced by somebody, and it was investigated by the police. But I think that once the police got so far into the investigation, they found out that it was crap, right? Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't investigated. I'm not saying these people that were mentioned in this affidavit or a defense paper being released, 12 pages. Uh, but here's the thing: people were picked up. Did they coerce this story? And it actually was investigated, but came out to be nonsense. It's possible. So we are really seeing real documentation, but it was thrown to the side because it was found to be nothing there. Right? Is that possible? I don't know. Let's listen a little bit more of this gentleman. And see what he's got to say about this.
If it is, in my opinion, I think if it is the Odinism thing, I think that it's Richard Allen that was doing it, not other people.
yeah, I didn't go there with him. You know what I mean? We didn't talk about that at all. I didn't go there with
Debbie.
him. But
yeah,
I'm sure that if I ask him, that he will.
Debbie.
Come and discuss what he saw.
Right. Well, I hope he does, dude. I hope he does. So, all right. Well, I think I'm going to jump off here. I'm actually going to play a video about the crime scene. And then I'm going to jump off here, man. I'm getting tired.
All right, dude. Have a good night. Thanks for having me on.
All right. So the video's over with. What can we believe? This is the question. What can we believe in this? Right now, here's my thing. We don't know actually what these people were picked up for. Meaning, was some of these people picked up because they lied? They gave fake information to the police or coerced information to the police. Now, a lot of people have been looking up the Odins, which, if it is the Odins, this sorcery or whatever, witchery, whatever it is, devil worshiping, whatever, there's plenty of them on YouTube. There's actually people on YouTube. You can go look it up on videos that do this. But I mean, if that's the case, and they're going to go after all this society, the Odoms, well, there's tons of them on the YouTube doing these seances, but that's as far as it goes. It's pouring some water and doing some ritual stuff, right? You don't see them killing people or anything. So was this case made to look like something else that it really wasn't? Yeah, that's one to answer. But these people have a lot of explaining, because I've been on this case for a long time, watching it, listening to these people say what it was. This is what happened. Of course, I don't know what happened because I wasn't there, and I don't have the evidence in front of me. But a couple of these gentlemen have confessed to things right on camera and not even known it. Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got a lot of explaining to do, or a lot of thinking to do about, can we trust this documentation to be real? I would say it's probably real, but in the same thing, I would say they probably threw it out and didn't even use it, because the FBI is even saying that they looked into it and it just didn't check out. So that tells me that it was a piece of documentation that they are putting forth and trying to build a case on to save Richard Allen. Do I think he operated alone, or even possibly was set up? Possible. Very possible. It don't take much to set somebody up. So yeah, I think the people have a lot to look at, and this case is still an ongoing case. It hasn't been closed. And this information was out years and years ago, folks. My question is to society and YouTube, where did these 3 or 4 YouTubers, how did they know? How did they know that sticks were involved and certain things were done before this documentation came out, that they're all making a big thing about now? Well, here it is. It was the Odins, right? I think this thing was staged to make it look safe. And is it possible that Richard Allen is the scapegoat, is the patsy? It's possible. He might have knew about it, but then again, the person he was with might have had more brains than Richard Allen, and actually used the phone to implicate Richard Allen. But you would think then Richard Allen would have came clean and said that he was the murderer and I had help doing it. But we don't know if he did that or not. They're saying that he confessed to it, but if it's true what these people are talking about, and he was drove crazy, then could they coerce a confession out of him? Well, yeah, if they drive him completely crazy, he'll confess to anything. It's almost like brainwashing, MK Ultra. So it is interesting to see what Mr. Uh, Anthony Greeno's saying here, that it is corrupt, that he himself was framed for the Flora fires. That's what he said on his video. He went to jail for a year. We didn't know that. The Delphi community did not know that. Hello, lady. How you doing? How's the dog doing? Hope you're doing good. So we didn't know this. They hid that. But tonight on Mr. Greeno's video, he said that they set him up with the floral fires. That's why he went to jail. And of course, we all know children died in that fire, and I think a couple adults or whatever. I'm not sure. But they also questioned Mr. Greeno, and they took his DNA on the live tonight. So that's very interesting. So what are we to believe? Do we believe that it is so corrupt that this secret society is within our police department, justice system, whatever it may be? If that was the case, don't you think we would be finding more people? But we have. See, Abby and Libby are not the only people that have died down there. There's a whole list of women and kids. So what are we dealing with here? Really, you have to ask yourself, do we believe this? Do we believe that it was Richard Allen, Keegan Klein, and some other guys out there that did this? And they staged it to make it look like it was this Odin group or organization, secret society. I'm thinking maybe, we don't know. But I can tell you this much, folks. Richard Allen is a small man. For him to control them two girls and no one out there. And you have to keep in mind, folks, there was witnesses out there. There was dog lady out there. There was flannel guy out there. There was supposedly 20 other girls that were out there. Why these two girls? That's my question. When the killer, if he was there just to do a random killing, he would have killed Dog Girl, right? The woman that was walking the dog that says she's seen somebody. Don't you think he would have chose one person compared to two? I don't know. Lynn GMB says Richard Allen. Yeah. Well, it could be Richard Allen, but it also could be many more. You can't we have to throw Keegan Klein into the case because he was caught luring the girls. Kitty photos and stuff like that. They were going there to meet somebody that day. So we have to throw Keegan Klein in there because the phone data showed that he was talking to the girls. They wouldn't do this on a private property. Exactly. This is in broad daylight. There's people walking up and down the bridge. There's other people out there. There was 3 or 4 girls out there that seen Bridge Guy. Why didn't he attack them? And this is very interesting because even the FBI is saying that they don't believe the Odins had anything to do with the killings. Right? So this is very interesting where this is going. And folks, just listen. Just listen to the defenses. This document, Elvis, Elvis, and Johnny, and Brad, and whoever else it was, Elvis, Johnny Blaze, or whatever the other guy's name was. Folks, come on. A lot of people are saying, "Are you kidding? Wait a minute, Elvis, Johnny. Who's Johnny?" Nobody ever. Not once has anybody heard anything about any of these guys, and not even Elvis. Like he said, Elvis is alive. Folks, I think this was coerced. Fake documentaries, fake documents. Good God Almighty, if this is what they have, phew, I don't know. Do I think he did it himself? Folks, he's a little dude. To go out there and seduce both of them little girls, do whatever with them without anybody hearing anything. Um, Folks, don't you understand that night they searched that whole area? By 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night, there was people out there already looking for these girls. Teams, a whole bunch of people were out there looking. They didn't find them girls at all around there. Where were the girls? They had drones out there with heaps, sensors and everything. They didn't find the girls until the next day, and when they found them, they were staged. This makes sense. If they searched that whole area, nothing. The next day they go back to that area and they find the girls. Interesting. Someone said that they seen a deer, and that's how they found the girls. They seen a deer running across the area, and it tracked them. The guy tracked it with his binoculars, and then he seen something, and he noticed it was the girls. Well, that's what I'm talking about, folks, is as soon as the FBI probably read that documentation from defense that Elvis was involved in Johnny and but whoever else, these three other people, they probably said this is a bunch of crap. No, I'm not saying that the police or the government didn't investigate this. We would have heard about, if this was such a big deal, we would have heard about this from the government, right? The government would have came out and said, we think it's these people. But the FBI is saying they don't believe it happened that way, that the Odins were not part of this. And if they were, well, guess what? Go on YouTube and punch up Odinism, Pinodism, whatever. You'll see people out in the forest or in their houses doing it. If it was this organization, well, let's start picking them up. They're all over YouTube. But here's the thing. They're worshiping using water or harmless stuff, right? They're not actually sacrificing people. This is ancient fable stuff, folks, that the Greek gods and the gods made up, and people, Vikings and stuff, right? Old ancient stories that they were told to their children for entertainment, and this is what we're dealing with. Odaism, the great Oda. What the heck? I've lived out here 30 years. I ain't heard nothing about the great Oda. And I've heard about it because it's a Greek mythical thing. I ain't never heard about it in the police reports. These guys were killed from Oda. I ain't never heard anything like that. I haven't heard nothing about no Oda cult. I'm not saying it don't exist, but I ain't hearing about it around here. But then again, they're saying it's a secret society. How secret could it be if it's all over YouTube, folks? How secret can it be? And when they're out in public doing rituals, I don't know. I don't know if I can buy this whole thing, folks. I'm sorry, but this whole thing just ain't. It's not adding up, folks. They must be very upset, Lane said, to see their names in an official legal document. Can they sue? No, I don't know. Would I sue? Well, if you're innocent, completely innocent, yeah, but I don't think they would do that. That's now causing trouble because now the people that were investigated in this and the government, the FBI said they have nothing to do with it. Uh, could they sue? Well, if you got a lot of money, I guess you could. Would you want to? I would just thank God that I wasn't uh, involved in it and just walk away and just ask the courts, can you please get rid of this document? How did they get these documents? This is still an ongoing case. Um, how did we know about this Styx and the sacrifice 4 years ago before this was even brought out? I'll tell you why. Because something's going on here, folks. Either this was collaborated and a story made up because something dark and evil went down and somebody tried to make it out to be something that it's not. I don't know. I don't know, man. The team that he would have had across with these girls, he must not have killed the girls right away. I don't believe he killed the girls right away because they weren't there when the search party happened the same day, that night. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, it was dark out and they missed that area. But from what I was told and what I seen on the news clippings, they searched both sides of that whole river. And found nothing. The next day, after calling off the search, they go back and find the girls at 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock in the morning out there where they already searched, supposedly. Supposedly, they walked right past them, didn't even know it. Now, I don't know if we could believe Mr. Greeno. Would it shock me if he was telling the truth and it's that corrupt? No, it wouldn't shock me at all. Corruption is real, folks. Let me see what my chat is saying. It should have never been released. Exactly, lady. Let's see what Deborah's saying. Please stop the Viking. Why are they bringing up Odin? Come on now. That's what they're trying to blame it on, Debbie. Is the great Odin, which I always laugh because Zach Wilde always talks about. I think he named one of his guitars the Odin, but it's funny stuff, right? But little did we know that there's this secret society that sacrificed little girls. Folks, come on, this is unreal. We got to stop this. If this is truly going on, this is something we must stop in America. Anyone else got anything? Anything that they can think of why um, we are to believe that it's the Odins? Good evening, Humanimal. How you doing? Now, I don't know whether to believe Mr. Greeno. Do I believe that he was framed? I don't know. In his video, he said that they got him on the floral fires and that he went to jail for a year. I don't know if that's true. That was him saying it. We all heard it on his video. We didn't know about this, folks. That was all hidden from people. If it is true, that they picked him up for fake information, and that's what the sheriff said, that he was putting out false information. It might be true, folks. But we have to look at what he's saying, because if it is corruption and he was set up, then we got problems. But I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that we live in a society where we're teaching our children that these people around us, these authorities, are good people, but yet here they are within our police force. These people are saying these Odins are within the police force. Let me see what Humanimal is saying. I don't know what happened. I don't know either, Humanimal. Where the girls take away, then return. But you're certainly not on your own thinking. They weren't there till later at night. The docs, and ridiculous though. Well, the girls in the beginning of this case, they were saying that the girls were dropped off between 2:30 and 3 o'clock, or that's when the crime happened, supposedly. Now, I know that the search party happened at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night. They were out there searching for the girls. The family was out there searching, but then they brought in search teams that night and searched out there. From what the videos say that I seen, the news clippings, they searched both sides of the river, of the tracks, both sides of the tracks down the river that night, and didn't find anything. So it's possible that they walked right past the bodies, because it was very dark. Middle of February, it gets dark at a certain time. So it's possible they walked right past the bodies and didn't even see it. But here's my question. Why didn't they have dogs out there trying to catch the trail, the scent? Let me see what else Human was saying. Greeno didn't go to jail for Flora. That's what his video said, Humanima. That they tried to set him on, or they tried to get him on floral, and he gave his DNA, or he did a year in jail or something. I think he said something like that on there. They set him up. He said, "Come on, guys, they set me up for the floral fires, and I did a year in jail." That's what he said in his video. A bunch of us were listening to it. I think that's what we heard. Let's see what else Human was saying. Greeno went to jail for. Well, then why is he saying stuff like that? This is very shocking to me. Why would he be saying stuff like that, Humanimal? I think Debbie even watched the video and seen that too. But he was targeted by Randall, he says, and needed help for the African American Association because Randall is a racist. I don't know about Randall. This is the first time this is coming up in this case. That's unbelievable. This is the stuff. Now the floral fires, why in at the beginning of this case, people were saying that there was a connection between the floral fires and the Delphi case. Was the connection, it was the same person? And why did they want DNA from Greeno? Greeno said that they wanted his DNA. The girls were dropped at 1:49 by 6, dusk, dark. They were footage from, yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, I live up north here, so I remember when it broke on the news. I didn't do any videos on it until like after a year. Uh, but I think that's why we didn't hear too much on the Odin, this Elvis guy, and Johnny, and whoever else they were talking about. Was maybe the government just thought it was just way too out there, right? That it might, I don't know, I'm kind of confused on it because we know there was more than one, because Sheriff Carter said, and was, quote, questioned by a reporter, was Abby and Libby's voice and the killer's voice the only ones on the tape? And I believe, if I'm correct, don't quote me, but if I'm correct, Sheriff Carter said no. There was numerous voices on the recording other than Abby and Libby's. So that led me to believe that there was more than one person, right? Now, there was videos put out that said people heard a woman screaming that they better let her go or something like that on one of the recordings. But we really don't know because we really haven't heard all of the recordings. Humanimal says because they were missing teenagers, counties don't have the stack of resources as dogs. Yes, that's true. That is true, Humanimal. They don't have the money for dogs and stuff like that. Although they had the money to get a drone, thank God. Which that drone didn't pick up any heat sensors or anything out there. But Humanimal's right; they don't have dogs, money for dogs and stuff. Which Humanimal, if they would have had a dog, that would have proved, because the dog would have picked up on the scent, and the dog would have let them out of that area. And if the dog would have let them out of that area, then we would have known that the girls were taken from that area. Right? There's a lot of talk about these tunnels now. Maybe the girls were held hostage there until things cooled off. And then he brought the girls back to that area and did the killing there. But here's the thing. We're not hearing about a massive death scene where there's massive amounts of blood. There's barely any blood on these women or these girls, right? So where was the kill zone? That's my question. And I can tell you this much. If they did have dogs and them girls were out there, them dogs would have picked up on the scent right away. Even though they crossed the river, that's no biggie, because the dog handler would have walked that dog on both sides of the river, or the trail, or the bridge, or whatever. That dog would have found them dead bodies if they were there. But the whole story ain't adding up. Excuse me for coughing. Every time I start talking about this dang case, I get attacked. I don't know. Let's see what else is going on. Exactly. Usually for 13 and 14, they had hundreds of searchers within hours. Digs are irrelevant. That is not a responsible exploitation yet, dog. Now, we can only they can only do the best with what they had. I don't know. Something is fishy. And if the girls weren't killed there and they weren't seen there that night when they were doing the investigation, is it a chance that the killer had the phone? Therefore, that explains in the beginning of this case, people were saying that the phone pinged off of different towers. I have another question for the FBI and the authorities. How did that information come out when the police didn't release it? The police didn't release this information about Odin and these other guys. Why not? I'm guessing because it was FUBAR. There was nothing to it. They might have been Odins, but they didn't kill the people. Now, one of the fathers supposedly was dating, or one of the kids was dating one of the girls. At 13, 14, they had boyfriends already. Jeez. I can tell you the last thing that was on my mind when I was 13 or 14 was a woman. I was too busy riding bikes, dirt bikes, go-karts, and playing sports. And I was still at 12, 13. We were still playing cowboys and Indians out in the cornfields, army and stuff. Abby, Humanimal says Abby may be killed in water, at least bled into it. Libby by the nearby tree where the blood was. Yeah, we don't know. Here's the thing. That report don't mention anything about wet clothes. You think if they would have crossed that river, that would have been in that report. Clothes soaking wet, uh, evidence of water, crossing the water. Um, but we're not hearing that. We're not even seeing a lot of blood, right? Where'd the blood come from? That he wrote the F's in the trees, the girl's own blood. It takes time to bleed somebody. Now I'm hearing all these videos out there that the girls were hung upside down and bled out. You're telling me this guy did this in the middle of the day? There's people walking around out there. The time that this crime was committed, there was actually people walking on the trail as this crime was going on. You're telling me this guy hung two girls upside down, bled them, no one heard nothing, seen nothing, and did all this stuff and was out of there, and the police walked right by it and didn't see it? Hundreds of search people out there, 50, and no one's seen it? Come on, folks. Debbie Fox says, yes, I am enjoying to hear you both talk about it. I don't know too much about this case. It's so sad. It's horrifying. Why do these people want to go out there to a place where these girls were horrified and remember them out there? I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. I'm starting to get some bad vibes off of a YouTube creator that's got to relive this over and over again. Is just a little bit too much involved in this case. And he shouldn't be. I'm not talking about him, animal or Lynn. Someone just took off I had 3 in here, and one of them took off. I'm not talking about these ladies. One of these YouTubers are obsessed with this crime, folks, and keeps playing it over and over again. And it's just too much for me. Let's see what Humanimal has to say. Lynn says, no witnesses to see or hear Odin's. I know, lady. Yes, Joe is trying to help the defense. Yeah. Abby's clothes were found in the water. Abby was dressed in Libby's clothes. I know, I read it. Here's Humanimal. Here's the biggest thing I got with this is how did they miss this crime scene when they had all them people out there with 4-wheelers? I thought they did have dogs out there, but they weren't trained professional dogs. They were hunting dogs. How did they miss this? Yeah, I know you can't scream with your throat cut, but here's the thing, Humanimal. Someone is saying now that the girls were killed right away. As soon as he walked up, he killed the girls. That would have been the only way that he would have been able to keep them quiet and subdued and under control, right? I don't think so. Is it possible he did kill them right away? It's possible, but there would have been blood at the top of the bridge. Folks, when you get a laceration of a your artery in your neck, your main vein, it's very bloody, very fast, massive amounts of blood. It's going to be all over, folks, all over the place. Okay? It would have been drenched all over the girls. And this whole thing that the girls were upside down, their faces and heads and hair would have been covered with blood. It would have been evidence. There would have been bruising around the ankles, proving that they were hung upside down. No, Humanimal's right. Laney said that Joe was trying to. Yeah, I've seen him on that video today on his live. Yeah, I agree. A gun will control the 2 girls, but for only so long. And I'm guessing the girls died there was no gun used. That would explain why there was people actually out there, but nobody heard anything. The only thing I can think of is yeah, he might have used a gun. There might have been other people. They might have coerced the girls to go somewhere. Here's the main thing. That night, with all them people out there, 4-wheelers and all kinds of stuff, it's been documented that they searched both sides of that river and found nothing that night. They went back the next morning at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever, 8 o'clock, and found the girls at 10 o'clock in the morning. Reports of the phone pinging all over town. Right? That would make sense. The girls weren't there. Or they were there, but the phone wasn't. He goes home, he turns on the TV. He sees on the news, just like all of us did in Indiana. We've seen the news clips. People out there searching for the girls that night. No one found anything. Something fishy going on here. How do you have all these people out there? They even had dogs out there. They weren't police dogs, I don't think, but there was dogs out there, I think, that we seen in the clips. Where did them video clips go and news clips? I mean, you can't find videos from 5 years ago or whatever. Very fishy, this whole thing. And now it's Odin, a cult. They here's the humanimal. You're a woman with an open mind. Humanimal. Do you really think? Now, I'm going to ask Debbie too, because Debbie and I'm going to ask all three of you ladies that are in my chat. Do you really think that this secret organization would kill these two girls and point the evidence directly towards them? If that is the case, these people must be the most stupidest people I've ever met. These Odins, right? To go out and kill two girls, 12 and 13 years old, and stage it to point all evidence to them. It's got to be the most... All right, let me see what my chat is saying. If Alan didn't meet co-conspirators there, the other men there was BD or WR. Yeah. There's a lot of suspects in this, right? Yeah, Chadwell. No matter what, even if he wasn't involved in the Delphi case, they got him on kidnapping his next door neighbor's 9-year-old daughter and chaining her up in the basement and sexually assaulting her and attacking her with a pit bull. You got Kurt, you got Keegan Klein, that was found guilty of communicating with the girls, trying to get nude photos from the 12 and 13-year-old. The list goes on and on. It screams out that it was some kind of a club, organization, maybe secret society to them idiots down there. But the Odins, I don't know. It looks like maybe somebody did something. Maybe Richard Allen was an Odin, right? Maybe Humanimal's right. Maybe they all didn't go there at the same time, but they knew what was going on and they met there, right? And then boom, they do the crime. They leave, right? Then they come back after it cools off. Maybe. Witchery, sorcery, evil. I don't know. I do believe some of these people did sell their souls or are just so far deep into this, they can't get out. All right, let me see what Debbie's got to say. Let me see what the Debster has to say. The whole Odin thing, come on now. I can't say much yet, but that's ridiculous. I don't know. You might be right. Maybe some satanic crap. Maybe, right? Maybe Richard Allen was just a nut job. Right? Maybe all these people were connected. That's why all these people got questioned in the case, was because there was a connection. And what was that connection? Phone data, computer data, stuff like that. Drugs. Here's the thing. In the beginning of this case, people were talking about drugs. Everyone was like, oh my God, meth, cocaine, But what if, and I'm just saying this, I'm not saying this is true, but what if it was drugs, but it wasn't cocaine, it wasn't meth that all these idiots were doing? It was prescription drugs. And who got them prescription drugs for these idiots? Well, Enter Richard Allen, who worked at CVS as a medicine dude. He filled and got prescriptions. I mean, we're really digging deep into this guy. Heck, I want to question Brian Koberger in this case. I know a lot of people are saying I'm crazy, but hey, the MO fits. Crazy guy cutting up people. I think a gun, the same caliber gun, was found in Koberger's case, wasn't it? Right? What did all these people say about Koberger? He likes knives. He's a fan of knives, right? People are going, are you kidding me, Koberger? Yeah, let's question him. Why not? It might be everything that they're talking about. It might be everything the Federal Bureau of Investigation was talking about. It's just big ring of cuckoo crazy. Maybe. I'm not sure. Debbie, what do you think? Definitely evil. Oh, yes, Deborah. I agree with you there, little lady. I certainly do. Humanimal, Chadwell, no. I don't, like I said, I don't care if Chadwell's involved in this or not. But I can tell you this much. He's got picked up for something that's the same thing as we're looking at Delphi. But thank God that girl survived. Thank God. She did survive. Because I have a feeling he would have killed her. Exactly, Debbie. It's horrifying that these girls passed away this way. I don't think we're getting the full story, folks. I know you're gonna get upset, but I just can't buy this story. Something more devious is behind this, and it's being covered up. And I believe the people that might have had a hand in it or whatever are the ones doing the covering up, maybe. All right, let me get back to my chat. Humanimal says, that's not what I said. Okay, I might have misled. I might have misheard you, Humanimal. Hold on. Please don't get upset at me. That's not what I said. But yeah, maybe people went at different times. I didn't say that, though. Instead, if he wasn't with conspirators, was it a spur of the moment thing with someone else? Maybe Humanimal. Maybe, I think, maybe Bridge Guy was maybe like the herder to push the girls back towards the killer, which even you, Humanimal, know that we've heard that scenario years ago. You've been following this case for a long time. Let me see what Humanimal says. I have to go. Every second word is dropping out. And you have a bad connection. I have a bad connection. It wasn't drugs. Okay, I'll go. Bye, Humanimal. Thank you for stopping in. Debbie, is my internet messing up, or is it might be Humanimal? She's all the way on the other side of the world. Thank you for stopping in, Humanimal. All right, it is getting late. No, it's good. It's good to know. All right, Deb, thanks. It's getting kind of late. What do you think, Debbie? Lynn, what do you think? What do you think's going on? Can we believe Anthony Greeno and what he's saying, that they framed him? That's what he said in his video, folks. We were listening to it right here. He said they asked for his DNA and they set him or got him on they're trying to set him up on the floral fires or something. That's what he said on his video. I don't know. Maybe they are. But I thought he said they set him up on the floral fires and he did a year in jail. Yeah. Yeah. Lynn's right. The warden picked apart the previous motion about the mental illness. I was here from the warden again about the prison guards supposedly wearing patches. No, I've seen our military wears patches, right? The black ones or whatever, and people are saying, "Well, that means something." It's just like it's for fallen soldiers. Yeah, I really don't know. I could tell you what, I do believe that they're using witchery and sorcery in this case because things have been changing. People have been getting attacked. Something fishy is going on with this case. And I think YouTubers have something to do with it. I think so. Let me see what Debbie said. Odin patches, they claim. Yeah, I know. I was listening to them. One man in this case is worse than Lori Valor. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this case is. I'm just finding it hard to believe how he got in and out of there without anyone seeing him. All the reports of people walking down the highway, right? What about the reports that the lady seen a guy that was all muddy and bloody walking down the highway there with a backpack on, right? What about that guy? Gee, I mean, this is you have to look back at all the reports that these YouTubers put out that claimed all this stuff was real. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Supposedly he did this by himself. His car was seen on camera. Yeah, but they're also saying that there was reports that someone reported that that was not the car that they seen, the black Ford Fusion or whatever it was, that that was not the car that they seen. I don't know, Debbie. He might have. He might have. He might have been talking to the girls too. He might have. He might have been talking to the girls too, and figured out he got busted. Right, and he figured he better get rid of the girls because they can track him or whatever. His dad or whatever, or some. I don't know. But even the way the phone was found underneath one of the girls, underneath the gym shoe. It was placed underneath the gym shoe. And the gym shoe was underneath the girl. Okay. So the phone, we know this killer or killers. We know that they had the phone. We know this because the way the body was positioned over the phone in the gym shoe, the guy had to have seen it or known about it. If it went down the way the police are saying, and Abby and Libby recorded the real killer and they put the phone in the pocket, well, then the real killer must have found the phone undressing these girls. Therefore, he had the phone. One of the girls were found practically nothing on. The other one was dressed in the other one's clothes. So we know the killer found the phone. He had the phone between 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning the next day. We know he had the phone. We know he found the phone because the phone was still there and the way it was placed, right? And from what the police say, that one of the girls that was recording the killer, Bridge Guy, we don't even know if Bridge Guy is the killer. For all we know, to that video, they could release the full video, and Bridge Guy just kept walking right on by. And it was someone else. We really don't know without seeing all the video. But if it's true what the police are saying and the girls put the phone in the pocket, well, once he killed them or whatever and undressed them, he found the phone. Therefore, we know he had that phone. Therefore, that would explain the pings town late at night in the beginning of this case. Remember everyone saying the phone pinged all over town that night. That's what the video said. So, therefore, we know he had the phone. Someone had the phone. Can we agree on that, folks? Can you folks agree on that? Time I've been on it 6 years, probably. The case is going on years, 8 years. I've been on it probably 5, 6 years. In the beginning of this case, I remember clearly that everyone said the phones were pinging all over. How did they get that information? That's when it was an ongoing case still. People can't use their head. Ron Logan did murders. Do you think Ron Logan was that stupid to kill the girls and then place the girls on his property so the police would come knocking on his door? Oh, yeah, Mr. Logan, we got a couple girls that are dead on your property. You mind if we look around the house and look around and everything? Leading the police right to him. Does that make sense to you, folks? It don't even make sense to me that the Odins did it and finger right to the Odins. Well, being an investigator walking in up on this, right? You walk in on it, what do you do? Well, this is the Odins. We need to look no further. Let's start locking up all the Odins. They're all over YouTube. There's videos on these people worshiping out in the wilderness, right? Do you think they would be that stupid to point the finger right to them? Does that make sense to you folks? No. What makes sense to me is it was something else, but it was staged to make it look like something else. Either that or these people must be the most stupidest secret organization ever made. Does anyone else think anything about it? Anyone else? Oh, hey, look, here we go. Is that pretty boy Mark Klein? It might be. Pretty boy. So here he comes stealing all the women out of my chat. Dang it. But anyways, let's get back to this. How you doing, Mark? Let's see what Debbie said. So weird. Like, was this his first time doing something like this? I have no idea, Deb. I don't even know who the cuckoo is. I don't know if this was his first time. A lot of people are saying, well, it was a crime of opportunity. He took his chance. Yeah, but I know, but there was 3 other girls that seen him there. Why didn't he kill them? Right? The dog lady. Why didn't he just choose one woman? And I guess it was a small dog or whatever, right? He could have killed the dog and chose that woman, right? He didn't. Something ain't adding up here, folks. What if they were on to one of these guys? What if they were on to one of these guys and they were being tracked? Meaning that these guys already were being tracked and they were communicating with Abby and Libby, and they figured it was Abby and Libby, maybe, that they were getting in trouble for, and they had to get rid of Abby and Libby. I don't know. One of the girls, now there's a report that one of the girls, either Abby or Libby, did have a boyfriend. Now, is it possible the boyfriend might have got the girl pregnant or something, and something bad happened or whatever, and they offed both of the girls? I find that kind of hard to believe. I'm not saying it's not possible. This seems like it was just either a crazy killing that was staged to look like something else, or it was a revenge killing and it was staged. Here's the thing: the throat's cut. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, that's a sign, right? If you look into this secret organization thing, it's a sign. The girls must have told the secret that they weren't supposed to tell, or they knew something and was saying something and they weren't supposed to tell. So they left the girls this way as a sign of they talked. Maybe there's rumors that Eric, or whatever the guy's name is, one of the girls' fathers, was an informant and was ratting on people. Don't know. That's what's out there. Maybe it was a revenge. What Debbie say? What? He takes on 2 teenage girls in the park. Yeah, I guess he did. Right? I guess he did. And there was other victims there that he could have chose that probably would have been an easier target, but he chose not to. Yeah, very weird. I agree with you, Debbie. Very weird. I do believe we are dealing with some kind of satanic, devil worshiping, demon conjuring people out there. Something ain't right out there. They must be in the water or something. I don't know. But there, here's the sad thing: Abby and Libby are not the only girls that died out there. He staged the scene. That's what I'm thinking too, Laney. Whoever helped him or who. Here's the thing, folks. This guy took a big chance. First, they're going to have to explain to me how they missed the bodies that night. I can understand the cold, whatever. I can understand how did the dogs suppose. I seen clips of people being interviews, news clips. I could have swore I heard that we got 4-wheelers out here, we got people out here, we got dogs out here. They didn't find nothing that night. The search went on from like 7, 8 o'clock at night until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I might be off a little bit on the time, but then they broke. They took a break and said it was just too dark. It was getting too cold, and that they would in the morning and resume the search. And then they came back, and at 10 o'clock, they found the girls supposedly in an area that they. This guy had to be fast. He would have had to kill the girls. He would have had to bled them out. He would have had to change clothes. He would have had to wash them all down. He would have had to do all kind. This would have took a little bit of time, folks. He would have had to been out there all the long. It's during the day. This is a very risky thing. People on the trail, he knows there's people on the trail because he just walked the trail. He's seen people walk past and he turned around and walked back after them people went by. So there was people out there. And if them girls would have screamed, someone would have heard them. I believe someone would have heard them. There was no leaves on the trees. Middle of February. I believe it would have echoed through there if he did fire a shot, or if the girls would have screamed. And the whole thing ain't making sense, man. I have one question for you folks. And I have one question only. Why did Anthony Greeno say that they took his DNA? Or they asked to take his DNA in the case? I thought he said he did give him his DNA. And in the same breath, I heard him say, and numerous people heard him say, that he was set up, or they set him up on the floral fires, and he did a year in jail. And he was railroaded. They set him up. That wasn't me saying that, folks. That was Anthony Greeno saying that. Now, if that kid is telling the truth and he's innocent and they set him up, I don't know. Maybe they did set him. Maybe Anthony Greeno got too close to the case and other people set him up. Maybe other YouTubers set him up. Maybe. But here's the fact. The fact is he just said that on camera. I don't know what it was all about. But I don't know why he was saying that. I don't know. But to me, I took it as he was confessing and didn't even realize he was confessing. He was confessing that he got picked up and they pinched him on it. They got him on it. I don't know what you folks think, but that's what I think. Now, I don't know if that's true, or maybe Mr. Anthony Greeno is under pressure and it just slipped out of his mouth. But I know what I heard, and I asked other people, did I hear that? I played it back twice. Did I just hear what I think I heard? That they asked for his DNA and they set him up on the floral case, the fires, and he did a year in jail. Then he said, come on, guys, I know it's corrupt. I just, okay, well, he should have said that from the beginning of the case. Why all these videos? Right? The other thing is, was Anthony Greeno the person that fed this whole Odin thing to the police? And the police and the FBI investigated it, wasted time, and there was nothing there. And the evidence was pointing somewhere else. And then the videos of Mr. Greeno saying that the police took his phone because the killer called him. But he never got his phone back from the authorities. Now, was that true? Or was Anthony Greeno lying? Was Anthony Greeno arrested, or was he lying? Did Anthony Greeno ever do a year in prison, or has he been on the run the whole time and he was lying? Was Anthony Greeno an undercover cop? And the reason Anthony Greeno on his channel today said, the reason I solved this case was because I knew all these guys in Delphi, because I'm from Delphi and I knew all these guys, and he put it all together. Well, if that's the case, Mr. Greeno, then I applaud you. But I don't know if that's what happened. The police said he was putting out false information on the case. I don't know if that's true, but that's what Mr. Greeno said. Mr. Greeno said that he called the police department to talk to the police, or when he did get picked up, he talked to the sheriff. And all the sheriff guys are big fans of his YouTube channel. That this was all a setup. I don't know, Mr. Greeno. I have seen him get caught in a lot of lies. I've seen him make a lot of videos claiming that the videos he's made, every time he did make a video, it was that person was the killer and he knows how it happened. And we always said on this channel, the only people that know exactly what happened or know anything about the crime or the crime scene was the killers and the people that found the girls. Them are the only people that know exactly what happened and what was in that case. The police knew the way the girls were found. The people that found the girls, if they weren't police and they were just search people, they knew how the girls were found. And you know who else knew how the girls were found? The people that did the murders. They know how the girls were found. How did these YouTubers know years ago, before any of this information was even released? Someone explain that to me. Let me get back to my chat. What's old Mark Klein saying? Let's look at the opposite. They would claim Richard Allen did it. Defense needs something, Mark Klein says, buying the storyline. Yeah. Laney says maybe they wanted his DNA too. Yeah. Well, the police, maybe they had an inkling of something, and they wanted Mr. Greeno's DNA and his phone, right? Now, I'm not sure. I can tell you this much: the kid got himself into a pickle. Right? Let me see what Laney's saying. The public found the girls. Yeah, well then they knew, and that would explain the leaks. But let me tell you, some of these YouTubers, which Mr. Greeno was one of them, and his other person he knew that he'd gotten a big argument with SH or whatever his name. I don't even want to mention that idiot's name. How did he know how the girls were killed? Nobody knew. Why? Because it wasn't released by the authorities. So how did that information get out? It had to be a leak with whoever found them or the police department. Within the police department, they trusted somebody that they thought would keep their mouth shut. But they didn't. They ran all over YouTube and made all kinds of views, subs, videos, whatever. That would explain why Anthony Greeno said on his live today that he was picked up for, and the police did call the news channel and said that Anthony Greeno's been putting out false information and stuff on his channel. I don't know. That was Anthony saying that. I don't know if he's telling the truth. I don't know. Right? I can tell you this much. The kid got himself into a pickle. A lot of explanation. How did these people know about this stuff? This is a serious thing. Many knowledgeable people had to get together to believe he is 100% guilty. I agree 100% 1,000 are innocent. Almost all of them means they are all guilty. Excuse me. He didn't pay child support. Yeah, I know that he's saying he didn't pay child support, but why did they want his DNA for child support? Why did he bring up the floral fires that they pinched him on the floral fires that they were trying to set him up on the, and he did a year in jail or whatever? Why was that in the same sentence? Why didn't Anthony Greeno say, well, I was locked up for child support and they wanted to take my DNA for the child support? Why? What was the whole floral fires thing that we were watching today where he said they were trying to set him up on the floral fires, that the police were corrupt, and he did a year in jail or whatever? A lot of explaining's got to be done. A lot of explaining's got to be done. Right? The tip, they would want his DNA. Yeah, if someone tipped it in, they would. If they had, if you know, here's the thing. Anthony Greeno is like Ernie Shell. He's got mental problems. There's videos on Anthony Greeno in a chair, and I felt horrible for him, in a straitjacket, tied to a psych chair, in the police department, going absolutely crazy, spitting on cops, calling them all kinds of names, just going crazy, almost like he's possessed. I was shocked seeing that video myself. He's got problems. And the kid got himself into a pickle. And I don't know if he can be saved. He needs counseling, probably. Right? He needs help. Yeah, Mark. I mean, we all know Ernie Shell. You know, I have a disability. Right? I had to take medication for many years. I quit taking it recently because it was killing me. That still don't take away my disability. In my brain, I've trained myself to know I have a disability. I'd been drunk, stoned, and high in my younger years, completely out of my heebie-jibbies. Even with my disability, I don't think about going and doing something this horrific. Even if people have schizophrenia, we don't see stuff like this. Where every day these people wake up and there's someone new. It's just shocking what we're going through, right? And even with my disability, folks, I just can't phantom myself to do that. And let me tell you something. After you have nephews, nieces, kids, whatever, you change your way of thinking. And I just couldn't. Any organization that would have to say, well, you're going to have to go out and kill these two girls to become one of us. Are you effing nuts? You know, that's how I would be. I probably would have killed the guys that asked me to even kill a young girl, 12, 13 years old, to prove my loyalty to their club. I probably, if I was packing, probably would have pulled out my heat and put two in the back of their heads for just asking me something like that, right? Hey, I want to be a part of your club, but I'm sorry. I'm not going to kill two innocent girls to prove I love your Odin or whatever. You know, it's nuts. It's just nuts. Nuts. The society that we live in. It's just nuts. Let's see what the great mod of Debbie says. Oh, gotta pay for your baby shame. Just saying. I have no idea what she meant there. I don't know. I'm telling you this much. Greeno needs help. He's got too many reports on him of violence against women, kids. He just got himself in a bad pickle. I don't know if he can get out of it. I don't know if this will ever change anything. We're not hearing the whole thing. I don't know if we'll ever find out the truth. Divorce rate is nuts. Money grab. Yeah. Well, I hope you folks are happy you pissed off my mod, Little Debbie, and it's hard to piss her off, but she's saying they need to burn whoever was involved in this. Yeah. Well, then we would be one of them. They're telling me now we must fight evil with good. I'm like, are we going to live? We get to do something, right? No, we must fight this evil with good. All right. I don't know. It's a new war or something. I feel like I could barely breathe. Right? Is this curse that they're talking about that's on this case? Right? It might be. It could be. Right? I'll tell you what. It's there's already talk that these guys are pushing for some kind of movie deal. That this probably was some kind of a movie deal. That one of these idiots were making a thing out of it, and maybe I don't know if that's true. Would it make a good movie? It probably would. But I'd hate to make money off of two young girls. Their death. And it was, don't get me wrong, folks, it was horrifying what them girls probably went through. I don't think we're getting the full story of this case, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. I just don't think we're getting the full story. I'm sorry. There's just too many rabbit holes. There's just too many questions. There's too many theories. There's too many. Each day something's popping up more and more with this crap. And everyone's like, well, this is all brand new. And I'm like, that ain't brand new. We already knew that there was some kind of a sick ritual done because one of these idiots on YouTube years ago, if I'm correct, 4 years ago, 3 years ago or whatever, came out and said that the girls were cut up. There was sticks involved. There was carvings involved. There was all kinds of crazy stuff involved. Well, he got a couple things right. There was sticks involved. And it was bloody because both the girls' necks were slashed. So how did this idiot know this shit? Years ago. Years and years and years ago. And no one else knew it. I don't know. I can tell you this much. I don't know what's going on in this case. Whenever we try investigating it, whenever we go ahead and get close to something, next thing you know, everybody's hacking up a lung or they can't breathe or they're like, what is this thing attacking me? What? I don't know what this thing is, folks. I didn't create it. Right? I can tell you this much. The people that did this to them two girls down there and the other girls that were found dead out there are a bunch of sickos. Complete sickos. And we can only thank God that none of our families were involved in this sick crap. We can only thank God that none of our children were involved in this. We can only thank God that. Thank God we ain't got idiots like that in our families, right? We can only thank God for that. Let's see what Omar Klein's saying. No disrespect to some. Men are walking out on their divorce rates up. It's crazy. It was a fake body showing, most likely. Yeah, I don't know what the heck. They brought up Elvis and Johnny and all kinds of crap. I imagine FBI looked at that and they were like, Elvis? Johnny? Wasn't that one of Elvis's cousins or something? Uh, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding? That's probably why the FBI and the government was like, we'll check it out. There is proof of this Odin stuff. But I think the FBI came to conclusions that it was not this secret society. A staging, which we've always said on this channel. Something was fishy about it. We couldn't figure it out. I'm wondering how many people did these people attack? Right? How many of these YouTube channels sent their henchmen out to attack us? No, I'm going to tell you folks, Mr. Sheriff Carter was talking to an individual. And that individual, Sheriff Carter, was looking around in that press release. And Sheriff Carter was talking to somebody in that press release, telling that individual, we think you have an inkling of morals still. He was talking to somebody that would have been there, that's been there before, that supposedly is from Delphi, maybe a reporter, maybe somebody that, was acting like a reporter. Boy, I'm telling you, we're getting about, you know what, tomorrow I'm waking up and I am going to be Superman. Because we're starting to see a lot of these people just wake up one day and they just become their reporter, or they become a police officer, or a bail bondman, or I'm just going to be somebody tomorrow. Yeah, they know the document that they're reading in the Delphi case. The Odin files is what they're calling it now. They were investigating Elvis, Johnny, and some other guy. Which probably I would have laughed too as soon as I started reading it. Elvis, what do you care? Elvis? And Johnny? Elvis and Johnny. Right. That's probably why it got thrown out and they didn't use it. They like I said, folks, they probably did investigate it, but it came out to be nothing. That's why we didn't hear about it. Certain people did. Certain people knew that the girls were killed with sticks, or sticks were placed on them, or whatever, and they were all carved up or whatever. A couple of these YouTubers got it right. There was sticks involved. How did they know that? The police didn't release it. Right? I don't know. I'm getting to bed. It's kind of late. My voice is going out. Either that or somebody's using witchery. I found out that they're saying now that witching hour is between 12 and 3. So they must be doing their voodoo crap between 12 or 3. How did this guy, how did you tell me how this little 5'4", this little 5'4" guy did this that fast? No one heard nothing. He got out of there. Why all the other reports? Why all the other fake reports of other people being seen there? But no one heard nothing. No one heard nothing. No one's seen anybody. I think what we're dealing with is a mystery, folks, that they created deliberately to cover up the truth, maybe. Maybe trying. I'm thinking the money played a issue in it. The $360,000 that supposedly was offered up as a reward to solve the case. I think we all solved the case. I think everybody's put all the dots together that something fishy went on there. It ain't adding up. Yeah, that's what we're thinking, Mark. But it is getting late. It is getting late. Hey, the only way that I've been coming up with all kinds of scenarios, man. The only other way they would have been able to get them girls in and out of there when nobody's seeing would be by boat. Which makes sense. If there was a boat there, maybe it was underneath the bridge or whatever. Water was high. It was middle of February. It was a warm day. We had a bunch of snow melt. So all the lakes were very high. All the rivers were very high. Is it possible these idiots came in on boat, took the girls, and brought them back on boat? I don't know. We've been thinking about everything, right? Really, we've been thinking of all kinds of scenarios. How would this guy have done this without being seen, heard? Nothing. No blood trail. Nothing. Right? No massive amounts of blood. Where's all the blood? People are saying it was washed away in the river. I know Humanimal mentioned something about that. But here's the thing. He's got to carry these bodies from the river and stage them. He's taken a chance getting close to the river because then he's spotted. You can see him. It's a warm day. Maybe there's a fisherman out there. Maybe there's a hunter out there. He takes a chance being out in the open, especially with naked kids, naked young girls. If he took their clothes off, he had to have taken the clothes off of both of the girls. He's taken a big chance in the middle of the day. And I find it hard for this guy to be that fast, that strong, to do all this within an hour and be out of there. And no one finds the girls, no one sees anything until the next day. I'm finding this all hard to believe. I'm not saying the guy couldn't do it. He's a small guy. But when you're crazy, mental health, mental illness makes you stronger than people would lead you to believe. Also, drugs will make you stronger than you really are. It's possible he was hyped up on something. It's possible that Richard Allen was a drug user and was taking prescription medication. Why? Because that's what he did for a living, was work with medication, prescription medication from doctors. Could he have been a supplier and been stealing from CVS drugs? Possibly. If he's crazy enough to kill 2 young girls, is he crazy enough to be running a drug ring with pills? I don't know. I got to get off. My mod's got to be getting tired. Debbie, you getting tired? Is it tea time? I'm just about teed out. I drank too much soda today. I bought a liter of soda and drank it. Too much soda. And then I had coffee today. I need to change my life myself with this coffee, and I had a soda today. Could have sedated them. Exactly, Debbie. Boy, she's starting to think now. Possibly. I don't know what kind of medication they have at CVS. Do they carry a drug there that you have to inject? Maybe he injected them with some sedation stuff. Or did he walk up and say, here, take these pills? Right? And the girls took the pills. All of a sudden, they fell asleep, and he did whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I need to change my life myself. Debbie, doing you tired? Yeah, I had a big soda today, Debbie. I don't know for it. I bought one today and drank it. I shouldn't have, right? Because I had a whole bunch of coffee today. Oh, God help me. I got to come off of this caffeine. It was a fast kill. Mark Klein says it's a fast kill. Now, some people were saying that. He must have killed the girls right away, but there would have been a bro from the bridge down to that area. If he cut them girls' throats right away, right at the bridge when he walked up and killed them, there would have been a blood trail from the bridge to where the girls were found. And there was no blood trail. So what did he do? Well, he would have had to force the girl. Here's the thing. What I'm not seeing in this report is reports of the girls' clothes being soaking wet. Abby or Libby's. I'm not seeing that, right? They're not saying that the clothes were soaking wet. Evidence that the girls were in the river, crossed the river, or whatever. We're not seeing that in this report. But then again, this is not the detective's report that found the girls, which that's really what we're interested in, right? Is the detective that investigated the crime scene, the forensic guys. That's really what we want to see, because that will be in detail exactly. The girls, one of the girls was naked, the other one was dressed in clothes, but them clothes were soaking wet, socks soaking wet, shoes soaking wet, evidence that they crossed the river. We don't know. We'll have to wait. I got to go to bed. I'm tired of these crime cases. I'm tired of getting attacked by this thing. It's a curse. Whenever you start investigating or talking about this case, it just gets crazier and crazier. I do want to thank Lainey. I don't know how she wants me to pronounce her name. I can barely see it. I think it's Lainey. I've seen her in other crime channels. She's a great lady. I want to thank her. I want to thank the great, incredible Debbie Foxy Fox. Great mod. The great Mark Klein, pretty boy himself. Now there go all the women out of my chat. Oh, he's taking the women out of the chat. I want to thank him. Everyone that watched. Oh, I want to thank you, Manimal. Want to thank you, Manimal. She's got a great channel. Go check her channel out. Great lady. I hope we solve this case. If there is more than one person, which we already know there is more than one person involved in this case, because you got Keegan Klein, you got the other people that were questioned and picked up in the case. So we know there was more than one. We don't know if there was more than one that did the killing, but we know that there was more than one involved in this case. Bottom line. I love you folks. Of course, I'm kind of tired. But then again, the sugar from the pop has got me rushing. But then I kind of crash out. But then I'm back. And it reminds me of drugs. And I don't want nothing to do with it. Don't want it. Don't need it. All right, folks. Oh, then I had some chocolate chip cookies today. Oreo, or not, Chip Ahoy's. And I think I had one Oreo cookie too. I had a couple of Chip Ahoy's and an Oreo cookie. It's horrible. I need to change my life. Chicago Bears suck. How did you dare ever come in this chat again, mister? And talk about my Chicago Bears that way. We know they suck, but we still love them. Even when they're down and out, we still love our Chicago Bears. How dare you, pretty boy Mark Klein. Come in here and tell me that the Chicago Bears, my hometown, sucks. How dare you. Now there's the great Laney GMB. Thank you for stopping in, Laney. Laney, can I say Laney or Lynn? However you want me to pronounce it is fine. Thank you for stopping in, Laney GMB. Appreciate it. Debbie Fox, appreciate you. Mark Klein, don't ever come in here again and say the Chicago Bears suck. Ever. I can't believe you. There's a lot of things you can do, Mark. You can take all the beautiful women out of my chat. But how dare you talk about the Chicago Bears? Quit reminding us that they suck. Doug must be angry. What's going on, Lynn? Lynn, what's going on with Doug? No thanks. My numbs are numb. Did Doug get pissed? Oh my God, not Doug. Laney, have a good night. Yes, everyone have a good night. I got to get some sleep. I'm not a vampire. I don't like this late night stuff anymore. I'm older. Right? I'm looking for that one woman that likes to be at home late at night instead out in the streets, not in the mad world. I don't know, but I want to thank all you folks for stopping in. It was a great chat. What a great live tonight. We got a lot of questioning to ask, Mark. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Excuse me for my burp. Once again, thank all you folks for hanging out here with me tonight. Most of all, thank Debbie Fox, the mod. And have a great night. Keep an eye on the weather. Stay safe. Keep an eye on your your animals and everything. Be safe. God bless. And once again, please, Mark, don't ever come in here and say the Bears suck. We know it every day. Ever since McMahon left and Walter Payton, what do we got left? Right? We had McMahon. We had the McMahon shuffle. We had the Fridge shuffle. We had the Payton sweetness. And oh, how sweet it was when we won the Super Bowl. You can say a lot of things about us each year. We suck, we suck, we suck. But always remember that year we won the Super Bowl. Go on. We'll always rub that in your face when everyone said Chicago didn't have a chance. Well, we did. All right, now you folks have a great day or night. I'm mad too. We all are mad. Remember Dicka? This wouldn't be happening if Dicka was here. If we had McMahon or Peyton still, or the Fridge, or Crazy McMichael, or some of them guys that didn't even know their names, couldn't even write a letter or spell, but they were the greatest football players ever. And you'll remember that year that we won the Super Bowl. And people say, you guys suck. Yes, we do. But we did win the Super Bowl that year. That was great. All right. I love you folks. Have a great night. Be safe. You're always welcome here, Mark. Next time, bring a beef sandwich from Chicago or something. Debbie, have a great night. Lainey, Lynn, have a great night. I was asking about Doug Carter. Oh, Doug Carter. I thought you were talking about no nuts or no thanks. My investigation, whatever. I'm sorry, Lainey or Lynn. You were talking about Doug Carter. Yes, Doug Carter probably. You're right, Lainey. You're right. Doug Carter probably is very upset. I would be too. God bless America. God bless the Chicago Bears. God bless you folks in my chat. Now let's all go to bed. Good night. Johnny, sleepy well. Sleep well. Johnny, don't. Johnny's, I don't know. All right, folks. Have a great night. Be safe. God bless.